We're good.
Is this the most emotional Michael we've ever seen, especially in episodes 3 and 4?
I'd like to think so. It is one of the challenges of this character is that everything is life and death. Every scene is high stakes, but Michael's the guy with the plan. He's the guy who's constantly MacGyvering some bit of business, and everyone else is watching, waiting for him to hurry it up. But he has feelings. So to find moments alone where he can express what is really going on under the surface of driving all this action is important as far as the story, and so satisfying as an actor to play, because every once in a while you have to lose control to show control.
So, out of the cast, who would you say is most likely to be able to escape prison in real life? Who's the most capable?
I think we're all screwed.
Yeah, not me. I don't have that brain. I don't know. That's a good one.
You've seen me try to fold.
Yeah. You're certainly not a MacGyver, even though you pulled from him on the show. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
All right.
So what was it like shooting in Morocco as opposed to Vancouver and shooting on sound stages in LA? And if you could take Prison Break to any other country, would you want to take it anywhere else?
Shooting Morocco was very difficult. You're dealing with a whole host of things, primarily the weather. And we were jet lagged for most of the shoot anyway. And we hit the ground running. We were working incredibly long hours in incredibly trying conditions. And for me personally, Morocco was a bit of a nightmare, if you will. I had a major accident there, but I was able to bounce back and recover from it. So.
Was that an accident filming Prison Break?
Yeah, an iron bar fell on my head and shattered my nose, and
Wow.
so it was pretty intense.
How late in the filming did that happen?
It was about 6-7 days in, and I had to get out of there, and they rushed me, flew me in a helicopter to Casablanca to do emergency surgery and what have you. The doctor said you should take at least 6 weeks off. That was the recommended medical advice, and I didn't do that.
It was back to work a week and a half later.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Dominic.
Now, what is it like revisiting these characters? I mean, the show's coming back. It's been there before. You guys have worked together on numerous projects. Does it feel like putting on an old comfortable pair of shoes and just jumping back into it, or is it a different feeling this go around?
It's familiar, it's unfamiliar. Michael Scofield is in me, he's never going to go away, but I have changed as a man. I'm 10 years older than when we started the original series. So when I put those shoes on, the shoes may be the same, but the man standing them he's different.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I would say that going into it, I had no reservations. I thought I was very familiar with Lincoln, but as the words were slipping out of my mouth, I realized that I was a lot older than the last time I played him, and he was slightly more grounded, different, bigger, just a lot more weight. This is a result of getting older and the stuff I've gone through personally.
Yeah, actually, to expand on that, especially with you, Wentworth, with the life experiences you've been through and advocating for mental health, do you think that has kind of, really changed your experiences between the last season and where you are now, working with the character and where he is? Have you worked with that at all?
It informs my everyday experience, and it informs me as a performer, for sure. I've walked a long road, and I've seen and experienced a lot of things. One of the gifts of being where I am now, where I can talk openly about being queer, having mental health issues, it means I can walk on set, and instead of playing multiple parts, like the guy who has it all together while I'm playing Michael Scofield, I can just focus on Michael Scofield, and it's made me a stronger artist.
What did you do to build the character of Daniel?
I let Michael drift farther toward the dark side. He'd always hung out for me in the grayscale. Like, he's a good man, up to something good, but a lot of people died so that this this guy could go free.
Yeah.
So by the end of the original series, it made sense to me, story-wise, that he laid out his life, that he paid the ultimate price to kind of make things balanced and even. When the reboot picks up, it's 7 years later, he's in this prison in Yemen, and he's almost unrecognizable. So there is kind of the pleasure, I think, in the fans anticipating these reunions, but will the characters even recognize each other is the question underneath all of that.
Now, I read that your mother's side of the family is Lebanese and Syrian, and although Lebanon and Yemen are two totally different countries and cultures, was there some sort of like draw to the region because of your familial background?
Well, I certainly had a good time in Morocco, and there was something in me that resonated with the desert experience for sure. But I kept my focus micro the entire time because the character has so much to do every scene. And I left the kind of geopolitical aspect of it to Paul Turing and the writer-creators.
Do you feel a sense that you've come full circle from where Prison Break began, where now Lincoln's on the outside trying to get Michael out?
No, I don't think it's full circle. I think there's still some more to explore with the character, and I think the storyline as well.
Can you talk about Lincoln's headspace a little bit, where he is in the first episode, and kind of where he
Yeah, I
exists?
mean, Lincoln's always struggled with life, and that was just that intensified once Michael died, and he was lost. He couldn't get his bearings. Michael is his compass, if you will, in life. And once he lost his brother, that was it. He just doesn't have the self-discipline and that tenacity, that will to. He's a survivor, but he's a tragic survivor. And once he realized that Michael was alive, the hope was restored, and that's what I mean by I think there's still more to explore with Lincoln.
And surely Lincoln has learned some lessons from Michael over the course of their experiences
Yeah.
together that will help him in the
Yes.
future escape. So is there one specific lesson that you think is going to be really coming in handy for him from past seasons?
I think it's more of an instinctual thing for Lincoln. He's been around his brother. He knows his brother. He knows his brother's a genius, and just being around his brother, some of that behavior rubs off on him without him even realizing it. And also, Lincoln's determined to get his brother, and Lincoln's a bull in a china shop. I mean, that's who he is. That's what he is, and he's going to use that method to get his brother.
Awesome.
He's been in, this is the 4th prison he's been in over the course of the season. In a way, does prison feel like a home of sorts?
To me personally.
To Michael, is he so used to prison that any prison is manageable?
I think it is, or has become familiar, which is tragic. Dominic made a great point about there are literal prisons, and then there's the prison that is your mind. And Michael's been in this Yemen prison for 4 years now. He spent the majority of his adult life on the run. Can you ever really leave that behind? What's waiting for you on the other side of the wall when he's finally reunited with Sarah and his son? How can he be with them in the same way? Is it better off if he maybe leaves them alone?
Thank you guys.